Hi there. Welcome to the African Businesswoman podcast. This is the space where ambition meets culture and women like you and I rise, build, and lead with power. This is also the place for your weekly dose of inspiration, strategy, and real talk for women who are rewriting the business story of the African woman. I am your host, Loveland Bassi, and welcome to today's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about the business of balance. Woo! Have you ever heard them say, and I'm sure you have, that women can do it all? Well, that's not exactly true, but it's always a way of saying that women can do a lot. We work, we look after the home, we look after the kids, we bring the bacon home, we do everything, and we can do everything. But in all of that, it kind of tends to paint us as if we are perfect, which we are not. The fact is, as African business women, we have to find balance. And the truth is also that balance is not perfection. It's not the same thing in any way, shape, or form. Balance is not about being perfect, a perfect mom, a perfect wife, a perfect partner, a perfect daughter, a perfect business person. It's not about perfection. It's actually more about prioritizing, being able to prioritize things for different moments. So let me tell you something about myself first and this whole thing about balance. I own one business 100%, a grocery store, and I co own another business. Now, the grocery store is what you would call a small business, but the other business that I co own with my family, my mom, my brother, is a medium sized to big business. It's not, let's just call it medium sized business. And I have to straddle these two businesses. At the same time, I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm all of these other things to different people. I'm a sister. And at different times, my attention is needed for different things. But the two that I find that competes the most is my everything competes for my time. But my business and me being a mother, they are the ones that tend to compete the most because I have to work. I have to bring home the money. There are bills to pay, school fees, bond, car, everything. All those things need to be paid. And of course, there's the birthday parties and all of that. I want to be at all of my kids' events. I go to their sports events. I go to their dance events. And it kind of it kind of becomes a balancing act because if I'm not careful, I might be out of the country when they have an event. So I always have to make sure that my schedule is flexible. That if my daughter has a dance competition, that I make sure I am in South Africa at the time and I attended. To the point where there was one dance competition that, they didn't have a date for me. I had to set a date for business, travel, and all of that. And I ended up traveling. And after I had booked the date and everything, they didn't set the date, and I was out of the country. So I said to her dance teacher that, listen, I'm not going to be here, but her dad is going to bring her. And after that competition, when I got back, her teacher said to me that she would actually prefer if I am around for my daughter's competitions because she does better whenever I am the one who brings her to the competition. So, because of that, I am a lot more aware. In fact, this year, I had to reschedule my travel. They had to change my flight because one of her competition days had moved forward and I had to change my flight so I could be there for that particular one. So it's those things that struggle for my time, but I have to find balance because I have to be there for my kids. I want to be there for everything. Birthdays, there is no, it's not even negotiable. My kids' birthdays, I am with them every birthday. There is no I am out of the country. In fact, we have a rule. My birthday, I must be with them on my birthday. That's the rule. They made the rule and I keep to that rule. So these are things that you try to balance because kids didn't asked to be born. Like, if for marriage, you got married yourself, like you did that, you went into that. But when it comes to kids, they didn't ask to be born. So they are here now. And you have to give them the best of your time. And but you also have to provide for them. You cannot say I'm playing around with them and then the bills, their school fees doesn't get paid. So it's that balancing. And, this is my story. And this is something that I am conscious of every day. I have to pick up my child for chess on Mondays. But here also we had to negotiate that there are certain Mondays that I have to be on a Zoom meeting. I cannot be on the road. So that particular Monday he would not do chess in school. He would have to come home with his friend, and I wouldn't go fetch him. So we negotiated that. But it's all about balancing. So I'm not a perfect mom, but let me tell you something. I balance the heck out of being a mom and a businesswoman at the same time. So this whole thing about women have to excel everywhere, this whole cultural thing that we must be perfect and we have to be great mothers and great wives and great business people, it's a myth. There is nobody that is perfect in all of it. And the sooner we as women accept that, the better our lives will be. We are going to drop the ball. We're going to be guilty about missing something. We're going to be guilty about forgetting something. Recently, I forgot something that had to do with my kids, and I really apologized to them. And they said, "Oh, no, mommy, it's okay. We understand." And I got hugs and I got kisses, and I'm like, "Listen, let me make it up to you. Let's go for a movie and stuff." And I made it up to them. But I am not too big to apologize to my kids because I want them to also understand that when you drop the ball, you have to apologize. So you need to prioritize where to put your energy in every season of your life because your life is a different season. There was a season where I was an employee and I had to manage my time differently. So there are different seasons. Even in every day, there are different things that need prioritizing, and you need to prioritize how to do it and how to balance them. So let's talk about some practical, I've told you my story, I've given you an example of my life. Let's talk about some practical stuff that you can actually use. So, first of all, focus on priorities. What's the priority for today? For example, my priority for today is I've got a presentation that I have to do at 3 o'clock. So I need to prepare for that presentation. And that presentation needs to be ready before this podcast is ready to go out because that one is a fixed time. Listen, I have to get better at posting my podcast at a fixed time too. But the other one pays my bills. So I have to make sure that is ready. Now, my garden also, I had to buy soil for my garden. I have to make sure it's ready for spring and all of that. So I've gone out and I've bought the soil and I've just put it in the garden. I don't have to apply it today. And by the way, I'm not applying it myself. I've got people that are going to do that. So my garden is not perfect. If you look, you see brown patches. But it's all about priorities. Water the garden, it's not the end of the world if it's not all green. The other thing you need to do is learn to say no. There is actually a movie that is called Yes Man, a guy who always says yes to everything. He had to learn to say no. As parents, as business people, we need to learn to say no. In fact, I have a default no before I say yes. So, but my kids now, at the point, my kids started saying to me, "Oh, but I know you're going to say no." Then I started saying, "Okay, I'm not going to tell you no first. I'm going to tell you to let's talk about it." So I now take the approach of let's talk about it, and then let's see if it's going to be a no or a yes. So yes costs you time, energy, peace, and money. Some of you, the more money you make, I had a conversation with another businesswoman the other day, and she said she didn't know that making more money was going to give her so many more bills and so much stress because now people are coming to her. And I said to her, listen, you have to learn to say no. When you didn't have money, nobody was looking at you. Now you have money, you feel like you have to give them your money. No, you're working hard for it. So learn to say no. No to your spouse, yes. No to your parents, no to your children, no to business partners, no to employees. At some point, you have to tell them no. Not everything you say yes to. Stop trying to be liked. People don't have to like you all the time because that's where we fail. We say yes because we're trying to get people to like us. Have time blocks and boundaries. So make sure you schedule work, family hours, rest, and respect them. For example, for work, for a particular one of my businesses, I do not answer calls from people from the salespeople in the evening because they can go on, and that's when they want to call you. And I say to them, listen, like Saturday evenings are movie time with my kids. I'm not about to have a meeting at that time. Pick another time, have it earlier, but definitely not later. So I am also setting boundaries because I have homework to do with my kids. I have school projects to do with my kids. I am also a mother. So as much as I want to make the money and the millions, I have to have time with my kids too, just to sit down and watch stuff with them, just to sit down and play with them. Delegate and ask for help. Now, if you're like me, you struggle with asking for help. I struggle with asking for help, but I've started to ask for help. So, like yesterday, I was doing a project with my son and I had to break, we're trying to get a battery case. We couldn't, it was too late. He needs it for today. And I had to ask my brother to break the battery case. Like it was a toy, we needed the battery case. So I asked my brother to break it around because it's not that I couldn't break it, it was going to take me longer to break it. And he would break it better than me. And I had other things to do. I've been on this project with this kid for a while now, and he had a project partner, but somehow I became a project partner in all of this thing too. So I asked for help. So ask for help at home or in business. I ask my mother for help all the time. I'm like, sometimes it's indirect, and then she offers because she knows I don't want to ask, but she helps me as well. I ask my nanny for help. I ask my children for help. So it's all about asking for help. Now, I ask my spouse for help, but you need to understand that just because you ask for help does not mean people will help you. That's the other thing. So you should be ready to also take the no from them and just do it yourself. Okay. Now, self care is also a strategy. Some people think self care is a luxury. No, it's a necessity. You need to rest, you need to exercise, you need to pray or meditate, whichever one you do. They are not luxuries, they are fuel. This week, I have not been able to go to the gym because my body just, it's doing the thing, the monthly thing. Yeah. So I'm tired. I'm taking my supplements, but my body is not moving the way I want it to move. But I'm getting rest because right now I need rest. I need rest for my body to recover. It's not just about exercising. Next week I'm back to the gym, I'm back to yoga and all of that. I pray, I meditate because I need it. There's a lot happening in my life. If I cannot meditate, if I cannot rest, I'm going to lose my mind. And I can only think clearly when I can do all of this stuff. So take care of yourself. So I want you to think, what are your top 3 priorities right now? Like for today, for this week, for this month, what are your top 3 priorities right now where you're sitting and listening to this? What's the one thing you can say no to this week that will protect your peace? This is a serious matter. I'm asking you this question. What can you say no to that will protect your peace? Listen, I've had to say no to asking a particular person to do things all the time because I realized that that was taking my peace. If I'm giving too much energy to tell the person, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do, no. So I said, you know what? I'm either going to do it myself or ask other people for help because it's taking my peace and I'm getting frustrated with this person. So I did that a while ago, and let me tell you, I am more at peace the moment I started doing that. So the other thing is asking. Sometimes we feel that a particular person, especially us women, we feel that our husbands should carry the weight with us. And yes, they should. But guess what? They don't. Most African men do not rise to that challenge because they have this mindset of the provider, I'm just going to work and bring money, and then you do other things. And even the money they bring, most of the time, it's limited. So you are working, you are bringing money and possibly more money in, but you're also doing a lot of all the other stuff and they're not helping. So you asking them for help ends up frustrating you. So you know what? Get help elsewhere or do it yourself. Don't frustrate yourself with trying to get your husband to help you because most times they don't. I'm just saying, but not all men are like that. A lot of men are out there that they pull their weight at home with the chores, with the kids, but most African men don't. And this is our reality. So I want you to remember one thing as we're closing, or a couple of things. I want you to remember balance isn't about perfection, it's about priorities. Okay. I want you to take one small step today towards protecting your peace. If you are the kind of woman that nags your husband because he is not picking up his clothes, he's not helping around the house. And by the way, I hate the idea that a man should help around the house as if the house is not his and he's not part of the house. If he's not pulling his fair share on and his weight around the house and you're busy nagging him, you're losing your peace. Stop nagging. Leave it alone. Let it go. Find other ways to do things yourself, get help other ways, and make a call for your peace. Take steps towards your peace. Now, I've said all of this, but you know what would be great? It would be great if you share this podcast with other women, because they're trying to juggle it. They're thinking balance is perfection. So let's share this podcast with them and remind them that balance is possible, but they don't have to be perfect. Okay, they do not have to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect. We just have to be able to balance things. Now, thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share this with your world. I am Lovelyn Bassey, and this has been the African Businesswoman Podcast. Until next time, make sure to walk in power, lead with purpose, keep building, keep rising. Remember, your legacy starts now. And never forget, Africa needs your voice. Lots of love from me. See you next time. Bye.